Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Pharmaceutical Concepts. Today we will learn how to carry out the experiment to determine log P, that is partition coefficient of the drug like ibuprofen and ketoconazole. I will be explaining the procedure in general, and taking this reference you can carry out the experiment in your lab. Now, why do we have to determine partition coefficient and why it is so important? Because it is a measure of how much of a solute dissolves in the water portion and in the organic portion. It gives us the idea about hydrophilic nature and lipophilic nature of the drug, and in turn we can predict the behavior of the drug in different environments, behavior of the drug when it is actually being distributed within the body. So I will not go in much details of the introduction of partition coefficient and distribution coefficient. We know how to calculate it. We know that we basically see the movement of drug or its distribution between the two phases, and its concentration is then calculated in both the phases, and ratio of those concentrations is taken, which we call as distribution constant. And now we know that there are no dimensions to this particular factor, that is partition coefficient or the distribution constant, and there is no convention has been established with regard to placing the terms in numerator and denominator. So it can also be expressed in this way. It is necessary to specify in which of these two ways the partition coefficient is being expressed. Now it's a measure of differential solubility of the drug in two solvents, and distribution law is suitable only for solutes which are soluble in both phases and do not undergo chemical changes like association, dissociation, hydrolysis, complex formation, salt formation, degradation. We know that greater the solubility of a substance, higher will be its partition coefficient in that particular solvent, and as the partition coefficient increases, its permeability through the membrane also increases. Log P is used in the pharmaceutical and biotechnological industries to understand the behavior of drug molecule in the body. Log P in insecticides, fungicides and herbicide research is very important to understand the transport and loss process of chemicals. Not only does log P help to predict the likely transport of a compound around the body, it also affects formulation, dosing, drug clearance and toxicity. Though it is not the only determining factor in these issues, it plays a critical role in helping the scientists limit the liabilities of new drug candidates. And also this particular criteria of log P helps us in drug selection and the analog optimization also. This is because lipophilicity is a major determining factor in compounds absorption, distribution in the body, its penetration across vital membranes and biological barriers, metabolism and in turn excretion. So according to Lipinski rule of 5, which is of course developed at Pfizer, the log P of a compound intended for oral administration should be less than 5. And log P is important because we generally differentiate the drugs based on their polarity and non-polarity and the intermediate polarity. So these are the ranges of the log P values under these categories. And the intermediate polar compounds, which generally have the log P range in 2 to 4.5, these have good balance between aqueous and lipid solubility, and they show good absorption and distribution profile. So based on this log P value, while designing the drug, while designing the drug we can do various permutation and combinations of various functional groups to get such a structure which will have log P in this range, and so that we can get the good balance between aqueous and lipid solubility of that particular drug. So this particular video is intended to study the partition coefficient determination using shake flask method. This method uses separating funnel, and it is very old and reliable method actually, where we mix the known amount of solute in a known volume of organic solvent and water, and then measure the distribution of solute in each solvent. It can also be done the way around, that we can prepare saturated solution of the drug in the organic phase, and how much of the drug from this organic phase is now entering in the aqueous phase, that we can determine. And then the ratio of the concentrations in the two phases gives us the idea of the distribution constant, and logarithm of that value will give us the log P. Now here we will be using octanol water system. Now why octanol? Yes, instead of octanol we can always use chloroform also, we can use inert alkanes also, but octanol is a good mimic of polarity of biological membranes, and it is largely hydrocarbon, so we usually prefer octanol water system. And it has wide applications in medicinal chemistry and drug design. Lipophilicity is related to absorption, bioavailability, toxicity, metabolism, and this experiment will help us to understand log P of the drug, which is a very valuable information for drug design. Here we have to understand that there are two terms, log P and log D. Log P, that is partition coefficient, which generally refers to the concentration ratio of unionized species of the compound, whereas the distribution coefficient, log D, it refers to the concentration ratio of all the species of compounds, that means including ionized as well as unionized forms. Let us move to the main area of this particular video, that is the experiment to determine log P for a given drug. So first of all, we have to pre-saturate both the solvents with each other. The solvents which we are using, that is octanol and water. So this octanol and water I will be taking in a single container, and this container will be then kept for 24 hours on mechanical shaker, where it is supposed to get saturated with each other, and after 24 hours we will keep the container unshaken for some time, so that both the phases are separated. And from this now I will separate the octanol which is saturated with water phase, and water which is saturated with octanol phase. So these two phases I have separated now. Now this octanol which I have separated, this I will use to make saturated solution of the drug. Okay, and this water will be further used to make different sets as stated in the procedure. So to make saturated solution of ibuprofen in octanol, I am taking 60 ml of the octanol. So this volume I have taken from the procedure. A reference of the procedure I have given at the end of the presentation. So approximately this much octanol I have taken, and in this octanol ibuprofen has been added, so that the saturated solution of ibuprofen is prepared. Now as stated in this procedure, 3 sets are made. In each set there is aqueous layer and organic layer. In all the three sets, the volume of the aqueous layer is same, and in the organic layer, volume is changed. So in the first set, it is 25 ml saturated solution of ibuprofen in octanol is taken. In the second set, the ibuprofen content is reduced and remainder volume is then made up with octanol. In the third set, the amount of ibuprofen, of course by taking lesser amount of the saturated solution, we are reducing the amount of ibuprofen, and then the volume is then matched up with the other sets by adding 10 ml of more octanol into it. So these are the three sets. So I mean that I have three different beakers with me. Okay, in each beaker there is aqueous layer, organic layer. Okay, so this is this is aqueous layer, organic layer, aqueous layer, organic layer. Here also there is aqueous layer and organic layer. Okay, now this content from the beaker, then I will transfer to the separating funnel. Okay, so again in separating funnel I will have both the layers, aqueous layer at the bottom and topmost layer is the organic layer. This will be shaken for 30 to 40 minutes. After 30 to 40 minutes, this organic layer and aqueous layer will be separated. In the same way, this set 2 content will also be poured in the another separating funnel. Okay, this will be again shaken for 30 to 40 minutes, and I will separate organic layer and aqueous layer from set 2 also. In the same way, this content is taken in the separating funnel. I will shake it for 30 to 40 minutes, and organic layer and aqueous layer will be separated. So this is the procedure which I have taken from the reference book. The name of the book is mentioned at the end of the presentation. Now the contents from all the sets, like set 1 I have organic layer, aqueous layer. Set 2 I have got organic layer, aqueous layer, and from set 3 I have got organic layer and aqueous layer. Okay, now my next aim is to find out concentration of ibuprofen in each layer. How much ibuprofen is present in each layer. Okay, so that I can calculate using the titrimetry method which is given in Indian Pharmacopoeia. So for ibuprofen, it is stated that it will be titrated with 0.1 molar NaOH. So this 0.1 molar NaOH I am taking in the burette, and in the conical flask I will take this layer. Okay, so this layer I will perform the titration using the stated indicator in the monograph, and I will get the burette reading. Now this burette reading I will then substitute in the factor. Okay, so factor is 1 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH corresponds to 0.0206 grams of ibuprofen. Okay, this is the factor given. So suppose my burette reading is 90 ml. Okay, so 90 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH corresponds to X grams of ibuprofen. Okay, so likewise I will have amount of ibuprofen present in the organic layer, aqueous layer of each set. Okay, now this amount is present. For example, here I am getting, I will just take some random, I have not calculated, I will take just a random amount, suppose 5 grams, it is coming out to be 5 grams. Okay, or I think approximately 3 grams. So this 3 grams is present in this organic layer, that means it is present in the 25 ml of the organic layer. So this is the concentration which I have got for the organic layer of the set 1. And then in the same manner, I will also analyze this aqueous layer by taking it into conical flask and titrating it with NaOH. I will get one more burette reading. Using that burette reading, I will calculate the amount of ibuprofen present in the aqueous layer. Okay, so suppose that is coming out to be 0.9 grams per 25 ml. So this is the ratio of ibuprofen in organic layer and aqueous layer. Okay, now I will just take, okay, I will just take logarithm of this, and that is nothing but the log p value of the ibuprofen. So in the same way, for ketoconazole also, we can use the factor which is given in the monograph of ketoconazole in Indian Pharmacopoeia. For ketoconazole, I have to mention here that it is non-aqueous titration. So we are titrating with this perchloric acid. Okay, we are titrating with perchloric acid. So whatever burette reading you get, that you will substitute in the factor and you will get the amount of ketoconazole present in each layer, in each set, and then you can just take the ratio of the concentrations, then you later on take logarithm of that ratio and you will get log p value. So I hope you all have understood this. Keep watching my channel for the other topics also, and please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Now these titrimetry procedures we can refer from the Indian Pharmacopoeia, where the individual drugs monograph is given. For example, ibuprofen, in the Indian Pharmacopoeia the acid base titration method is mentioned, and using the specified indicator we can carry out this experiment, and the factor is also given there, as well as we can also calculate the factor. And for ketoconazole also, Indian Pharmacopoeia 2018, the non-aqueous titration method is been given. So that those procedures we can refer to determine concentration of these drugs uh, using this titrimetry analysis, and for determining their concentration in the aqueous and organic layers. The alternative method for determining concentration of the drug in both the layers is UV spectroscopy. If students know the theory and principle of Beer-Lambert's law, if they know how to calculate concentration from this equation, and if they know how to calculate dilution factor, then the determination of both the drugs uh, in aqueous as well as in organic layer can be done using UV method also. I hope you have understood the concept, and if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe and enjoy more videos on my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.